Alrighty, what's poppin'? Real fucking gamers. Welcome to the 28th iteration of the Nifty Cauldron podcast. I am one of your esteemed hosts, Kelly, and this is my equally as esteemed co-host,
It me, Milan.
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 What's poppin', gamers? Welcome to the podcast. It's good to be back. Just a reminder that since you're fucking here, you might as well just give us a little follow. Make sure that you are aware of the next time we post our next poppin' fucking podcast and you are alerted via the YouTubes so you can attend. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and suck a dick for fun. How you doing today?
Uh, I'm good. I think. I don't know. I'm neutral, I suppose. Is as
Hello? You had to like fucking think about it. You're just like,
I mean, listen, I'm not really hyper aware of my mood at all times. I don't know. Like yesterday for me was just off, and today's just been kind of like a chill day, or trying to be a chill day.
chilling.
To yeah, to kind of get away from that negative energy from yesterday.
Oh, well, why you having some fucking negative energy yesterday, Scoob? You want to go into it?
I mean, it's no big deal. Just time got away from me.
Mm.
Like basically, I woke up at a reasonable time, and then in my mind's like, okay, I'm gonna take a bath at this time. Then I'm gonna have dinner. Then I'm gonna start. I'm gonna relax before stream, and I'm gonna stream. And then I took the bath way later for whatever reason, and ate way later. Like I finished dinner like 20 minutes before stream. So when I went live, I was just very anxious because like time slipped away, and I did nothing meaningful. It just poofed, you know. So I was just kind of anxious for most of the day for really no reason.
I mean, I understand that because like sometimes the day gets away from me, but at the same time, I feel like that's me before every single stream. So at the same time, part of me wants to be like, first time. But yeah, I mean, I always try to plan out my day, but as you know, I am a shitty fucking cook, like the worst fucking cook ever. And so I typically, like we order takeout or, my brother makes food. And so that is how the most of the time how I am fed and I receive nourishment is from others because I'm an idiot. So when sometimes we'll order food and then it'll get delayed and then I'm not eating when I need to be eating and then it's like, I start stream late. And so now I've just kind of learned to just roll with the punches. But I can understand that if you are a typically an anxious person, that would definitely trigger your anxiety. For me, I am definitely more depressed than I am anxious. So I'm just like, I'm sad.
I mean, I'm definitely way more depressed than anxious these days, for sure. I don't, and it's not like I started late or that I was rushed to make it on time for stream. It's just things didn't go according to plan, and
Hmm.
I had no reason why they didn't. Other than I planned to take a bath at 4. I look at the clock. Oh shit, it's 5:30. What the fuck happened? Let me go and do that real quick. So I don't know, and it just felt a little bit bad. So today has been kind of like just chill, watching some anime,
Yeah.
watching some Twitch, watching some YouTubes.
Wow.
But yeah, how are you? How are you doing? I know school recently started for you on your already very hectic schedule. How are you coping?
Well, to be fair, I've been in school since last May, so school has never stopped because I keep enrolling in classes, except for one semester I had basically my winter semester. Sorry, not my winter. Winter, Ivy Winters. I was thinking. Sorry, I'm like my fall semester stopped, but I was taking a winter semester, but it was only the last half of winter, so that I had like a month off in January, but then I got COVID, so I died. So, I didn't really get to experience, the luxury of having that break anyways because I was, dying. So now though, I started class again at the beginning of March, something like that, and the semester has progressed since then. But now I've added a second class. So now I'm like most of the time in which I was pursuing my schoolwork, I would basically have like one class per semester, and I was just kind of, but I also work full time and I also stream. So I was like, this is manageable. But now I've added a second class because they only offer it once per year. And I didn't want to delay my schooling another fucking year for no fucking reason other than the fact like, oh, it would be really sweaty and make me uncomfortable. So I don't know. I decided to just double down, be sweaty, be uncomfortable, hate myself for 2 months rather than putting my certificate off for another fucking year. So it's been really hectic. I've already fucked up twice because it's hard for me to keep track of when my homework's due because of now I'm juggling like two classes on top of like the plethora of other things in my life that are incredibly hectic and make me stressed out. So yeah, other than the fact that when I washed my hair this morning, like I had like clumps of my hair fall out because I'm very stressed, and that's just how it is sometimes. I'm doing okay. Lamau.
I mean, I wouldn't say loud. That's just how it is. You know, that is not how that cookie is supposed to crumble. But I know you, especially your ungodly work ethic, and just you need to be busy 24/7 to like even feel alive. You know, so
Yeah, like I have to feel busy in order to feel like I'm productive, which makes me feel alive because if I feel like I'm not doing anything with my life, I start to like reflect inward and then I realize that my demons are still there and I'm not ready to face them yet and then I start fucking having a weird existential crisis. So it's healthier for me to stay busy to the point where I'm at the brink of burnout because it's more sustainable in my mind to like conquer stress than actually, face my inner demons, but
uh
if you agree, comment below, give it a like. Or if you're the opposite, tell me that what I'm doing is unhealthy.
yeah. I was about to say like alternatively, just fucking yell at her in the comments. Just go off on her, drag her ass. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it's kind of like mentally an unhealthy mental coping mechanism, but to the outside world, it looks healthy because I'm getting so much shit done. But at the same time, it's probably not that good for me, but also
I mean, I can confirm it's definitely not good for you because at some point you do have to face them demons and like, actually take that look inward and see and start fixing, right? Like start to process.
but bitch, think about it this way. I go, I make money. I now have a project management certificate. I get more money. Now I actually have the money so I can afford therapy in America's shitty mental health system.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I understand, but are you actually going to do that or are you just going to find more projects to manage once you have the certificate to stay busy anyway? Look, well, I have more money now, but I could even have more money if I just kept busy, you know what I mean? Like at some point, I think and this goes for anybody who's doing something similar, you will burn out like I don't want to say beyond recovery, but you'll burn out really, really bad. And so you should take a step back before that happens and like start the process of healing and working on it?
Yeah, pretty much don't do what I'm doing is the TLDR. And I can't stop myself.
Yeah.
That's all I got, dude. It's like, don't do what I'm doing. I know that I'm doing something that's bad, but I can't stop because I feel like in the sweet, dank world of America, that's not dank, money is power, and I have to just keep amassing more of it so that I can just be like a dragon laying on my hoard. But at the same time, I will never reach that point because, resources. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day I will be happy because I will have a house, but I probably will realize shortly enough that having a house won't actually bring me joy, and I'll actually have to go to therapy. But until
Until
then,
then. Wow.
Lamau. Okay, while my body is youngish, I'm 21, teehee, but while I still have it to the point where I can, completely run it ragged with late nights doing homework, I'm gonna do that if it means that in the end I'll be able to retire at a healthy age.
I mean, I can definitely understand that. Um,
Probably a healthy age of 75, to be honest, which is actually 10 years after, the suggested of 65, TBH.
is retirement age still 65 in the US?
For the most part, yeah.
Because over here, they've been pushing it to 68. So, like every year, they add like 2 months to it. Like, I think retirement age now is at like 66 years and like 4 months or something officially.
Why 4 months? That's fucking stupid.
Because if you go from 65 to 68, everybody who's 65 is going to be very angry at you. You can't just add on 3 years at the end of it, right? So they're just doing a couple months every year so that people who were going to retire can still retire the same year, just a couple months later, right?
That is so weird because like here in like America, home of the free and the brave and bald eagles and AKs, it's not managed by the government. The government doesn't tell you when you retire. Everything is managed by yourself. You gotta like check to make sure like how you doing on your 401k, girl? Like how you doing? Do you get a pension, motherfucker? You probably don't get a pension because they took that shit away. Unless you're a government fucking party at this point. That's the only time you get a fucking pension anymore. Like, we don't fucking have pensions and shit unless you're in a private company and you happen to be like a shareholder, then you might get a pension. But it's, again, it's self-managed. Everything here is self-managed in America. The government doesn't really have a hand in that shit. You look at your 401k and you go like, yeah, that's looking pretty tight. I'll fucking retire. But it's not like the government tells you like, hey, you're getting fucking old, bitch. It's time.
No, no, no. Okay, so I guess for full context, here the government is not forcing you to work until like 68 or 65.
You don't like have like a gun emoji
Yeah,
to your
like
head.
if I had the money, I can retire today. Like no one can stop me. But let's say I never earn enough money to retire early at 65, or by the time I'm that old, it'll be 68 or even higher. Government's like, all right, you've done your dues. Here's your pension. Like everybody here gets a pension. Doesn't matter. Technically, if you've never worked a day in your life, the government will still give you a pension.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen here. See, my parents have a pension, but that's only because they used to work for the county, and the county used to be managed by the state, which used to be managed by the government. And so they said that because they're by proxy a government employee, they get a pension, and state employees also get a pension. But because she worked for the county, which works for the state, they, basically 6 degrees of fucking Kevin Bacon at this point. They also get a fucking pension. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But then a couple years ago, they took that shit away. So now if you're a county worker, you don't get a pension anymore. My parents just happened to retire at a good time
Yeah.
and they still got it.
I mean, I think both systems really work, well in their own right. I just think I think the big trap in the US is convincing young people to care about their 401k,
Mhm.
you know?
Oh, I'm completely indoctrinated. Like, I'm just like, I'm not saving enough money per paycheck. So I don't have enough in my 401k and I'll never be able to, like, again, I'm like, am anticipating that I will have to retire 10 years after, the ideal date of 65 because I won't have enough money in my 401k because I didn't start saving until literally this year. I thought I was saving last year, but it turns out the asshole that was running the 401k program at my fucking work was, not actually doing it. So none of the money that I was contributing last year went towards my 401k. It just went into my paycheck, and that's fine because I still had the money. It's not like it was disappearing, but it wasn't going towards my 401k, so I wasn't actually contributing before pre-tax dollars. I was just getting taxed on my full income, which sucks.
Yeah. But, but how many people are in your shoes or don't start saving before they're 40 or don't realize, so like I think like a lot of things in the US that are wrong financially, it's like people in high school need to be taught about taxes. That's not something you want to discover when the IRS comes knocking because you haven't paid in 2 years, right? Which is more common than it should be.
Yeah,
But it makes the IRS money. So
yeah. At the same time, though, the IRS secretly tracks how much you're making anyways, and if you don't make a lot of money and you, like, don't file your taxes, but then they're like, "Oh, technically we owe you," they don't push you to file your taxes.
yeah, of course, right? I mean, the IRS knows it all, right? But it's
Yeah,
just
they're just like, "Oh, shit." Well, yeah, they're just like, maybe don't file your taxes so we don't have to pay you this year," kinda thing.
it's just in general, like the difference is they work somehow. Like obviously America's not like economically crumbling because people aren't learning about their taxes. If anything, it's probably keeping the system afloat in some kind of weird way because a lot of people are just don't know about it, right? And same with the 401k. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I like the idea here at least. Like if you never earned enough in your life that when the age is right, you still get to retire with a pension
No, that's nice.
and other benefits, right? Because like over here, I don't know. I assume you guys have it at least in some cities or in some states. We have exclusive homes for 65 plus
Yeah.
that are like smaller, like more accessible, so you don't have to walk around as much, and they're cheaper because obviously, you're retired, you don't have that much money.
Yeah, we have those too. They are only slightly cheaper than the things around here, and then they charge you up the ass for all the fucking fees. My mom really, really wants to move into like this place called Leisure World, and it's very much we it's pretty much.
Oh
I
no,
mean,
no, sorry,
the
sorry.
running joke is that we call it Seizure World.
I mean, for context, I'm not talking about like a retirement home or anything like that. It's just like apartments and like homes, like houses
Yeah,
that are only exclusive, but like nobody comes to check up on you. Like no, nothing. It's just
yeah. So they have both. They have 55 and up housing where you can get into the community only if you're of a certain age. And it is like a slightly reduced cost. Like rather than your apartment being, like $2,000, it's like 1,700. So it's under the price, but you have to be over 55 to even live in that community. But then there's another, like, basically super complex
Oh,
where it's the same thing. It's like you have to be of a certain age in order to get in. There is an option also where they run like their own skilled health facility where they have caretakers come and take care of you. And then they offer like senior classes where you can take, fucking basket weaving for a discounted rate and kind of thing. And so my mom really wants to go there and live there because she loves the idea of getting like free art classes. But yeah, my mom's like super nut about art. So she likes yeah, she loves the idea of like getting free art classes because right now she's just been taking them at the community college and she has to, like pay for that and stuff like that. But if she lived in fucking that community, she could just fucking go to the senior center and take art classes as much as she wants. But my dad hates the idea of living in the senior community because he's just like, there's too many fucking people. We're all on top of each other. And my dad's like a hermit and he would love to just disappear into the mountains and never be seen again with his dog kind of thing.
I mean, that's great.
But my mom's the opposite. She's like a huge people person. She wants to meet new people. She wants to have more friends. She wants to do art classes. She wants to like learn more skills. And my dad's just like, no, dude, like I did that when I was younger. Now I'm old. I'm ready to disappear into the mountains and grow my beard out.
Yeah, dude. Your dad. So, has your dad ever said like the following? My dad used to say it a lot because obviously, for people who are new here, while my dad was still alive, I was his primary caretaker, like hospice care and everything. It was like 24/7 thing, and we did talk about it. Like, hey, at some point, I can't do this for the next 10 years. Like, I'll have to get a job, or if it becomes too much, you will have to like move to like one of those communities. And he would always go, but that's filled with old people. I'm like, you're old people. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're part of demographic. Like, bro, I don't. Has your dad ever said something like that? Like, but it's filled with old people. It's like,
Yes.
hello.
Yes, because my dad is old, but he's just like, I'm a young person in an old man's body. But also,
My dad always said that.
yeah, but at the same time, my dad actually is like an old person.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Like, your dad is still also very. I don't know if I assume he still is, but still like very physically active and just
Mhm.
um
Yep.
everything like that.
My dad, yeah, my dad is incredibly physically active. He lifts weights. He is enrolled in a martial art.
Nice.
He just recently got his brown belt in said martial art. And like they do full contact sparring. My dad comes home and because he's got thin old people skin now, he's like fucking his arms ripped up and bleeding or like it's bruised to the bone and he's like, 50 shades of purple. But like that's just like my dad. He's always had that mentality where he's just like, I have to stay physically active. I have to do this. I have to do that and stuff like that. And he like constantly challenges the limits of his body to the point where I'm just like, man, maybe you need to stop doing that because like you broken your toe like 6 times this year and that's kind of a bad thing, like you're old. But every time he goes to his martial arts and stuff like that, everybody always gives him the comment that like he moves like a young person.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's very fast, he's very swift, he's very like physically like my dad's I don't know, like my dad's like fucking honed his body into the machine of death. I don't fucking know, but like he's a very active physically person and he's very like strong and capable and stuff like that. And it's just funny, like because my mom's just like, I love art.
I mean, it's good though.
Yeah, it's very cute because they're very it's weird. They like have a lot of the same ideals, but at the same time they're like incredibly opposite personalities. My dad's like a gruff old menacing sea captain, and my mom's just like this very nice Chinese lady that wants to be your friend.
This is true. Can confirm.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh, hi." And yeah, and my dad's very much like the person that would like greet you with the kind of thing.
When I initially met your dad, he fucking scared the shit out of me. He terrified me.
Oh, he terrifies everybody.
Until like, I don't know, an hour in, it's like, oh shit, he's super fucking nice. What the fuck? So
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
it's just exterior, right? But
Yeah. And like my dad's also incredibly sarcastic.
mm-hmm.
He has that super dry sarcasm where you're just like, haha, but are you actually kidding? Like I don't actually know kind of thing. And like that's
like just in case, just
yeah, just in case. Like it's totally like his sense of humor is to just have that super ultra dryness to him where he's like very gruff, but then he's also like very welcoming.
mm-hmm.
Like if you ever went out with him and someone like disrespected you, like he would fucking stand up for you and like literally fist fight that person at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the vibe of my dad. But at the same time, he's got like these kind of like deep set steely blue eyes where he's like when he looks at you, he looks like he's looking through you and can see like the fiber of your soul like 3 lifetimes past. Like that's kind of like my dad's vibe is that when he's looking at you, he looks like he's like dissecting you like in his mind.
Hmm.
But he's just a good dude. I don't know. He's a good dude. I love my dad.
Yeah. I mean,
And then the podcast became about me and my family. Hello.
yeah. Well, why not? It's the family special.
Yep. That's what we're calling this podcast, the family special. We probably won't call it that.
We won't. Well, we might.
No,
I don't know.
maybe.
I'll see next week.
That's a problem for future Milan.
Absolutely. President Milan still needs to make, I guess, by the time people listen to this, last week's title and thumbnail. So that's how President Milan is handling things.
But it's honestly like really wild though when you look at like the juxtaposition of like the European government and how like active it is in its community's life versus like America, where we're just kind of like it's a free for all, fist fight each other for the last bag of Pringles kind of thing. Versus like you, like
I can't believe, like, to interject, I can't believe we just jumped right back into like the governmental thing, just like nothing happened. Just like that was smooth.
yeah.
Like it caught me off guard. Like, oh shit, we're back on that. Okay.
See, but that's because I'm not one of those people that announce like, and to segue here, like you fucking do. You just fucking do the thing, and then people will just be like, okay.
Damn. All right.
You always announce. You always
I
announce.
do because I don't have a segue, so that's the joke, right? Bad joke. But listen, I'm very one note. Okay.
Your one note is the fucking brown note, dude.
Damn.
Um,
You're just getting dragged everywhere I go.
allegedly. But yeah, it's just kind of wild when you think about it because, you know, like with the way that my parents' pension and stuff is handled is only because they worked for the government. Do they see a reason to like, you know, reward them for a pension versus like your country and your society? It's just like everybody is worth it versus like our society that's just like, oh, you're only worth it if you work for us.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, over here, in theory, you could have gone your entire life without working a single day, and you'll still get it. And ultimately, it's why we pay taxes, right? Like for those kinds of things, we pay taxes, so everybody has healthcare, so everybody has a pension, so everybody gets like a disability that needs it, so everybody gets like welfare that needs it, and all those benefits, right? Well, I will say it does help that we're a much smaller country, both population wise, but also size wise, because relatively our taxes, like when it comes to like repairing things like roads, will cost infinitely less than repairing roads in the US, right? We just live in a very dense population as far as that goes and all that stuff. But yeah, it makes sense why it's so different. But I definitely prefer my system over the US because it's safer, right? Like
Yeah.
over here, I guess that's the best way to put it. No matter what really happens to you, you have a safety net.
Yep.
Right.
Nope, we do not have that here. I mean, we actually like have an infrastructure that actually is generated and created to punch down on the people that are left behind, like people that are houseless. We, you know, rather than having a system that helps them, we're just like, oh, well, we'll just invest in making benches that have the seats so they can't
Have
fucking
spikes and railings
exactly so they can't fucking lay down.
so they can't sleep there.
Exactly. So it's like that's the kind of shit America's doing. But I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's a whole nother fucking conversation, Scoob. But it's just wild because in that way, because our care is more individualized in the regards to like specifically like the COVID vaccines and stuff like that. Here in America, you manage when you're getting that. Your doctor is not helping you get the vaccine at all. Like at least in my experience, because my mom has a lot of underlying health conditions. She is legitimately entirely at risk. If she got COVID, she would fucking die because she's immunosuppressed. She's going through chemotherapy. She's immunosuppressed because of that, but she also takes pills in order to suppress her immune system as well. If she got COVID, she would fucking die because she has a platelet issue, she has a hemoglobin issue, she has Evans syndrome, which is super rare. I guess if you want to look it up, you can. But her doctor was not helping to get her the vaccine. You want to know who got her fucking a vaccine? Me, bitch. Her fucking offspring had to fucking go and make sure that my mom got fucking vaccinated because her fucking doctor was not helping at all.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is also very big. I mean, first of all, like literally, your mom is like, "Oh, you're sick. What do you have?" Yes. You know, that is your mom in a nutshell. Because,
She's got a lot going on.
oof, yeah,
She's got diabetes. She doesn't have a thyroid anymore. She had Hashimoto's when she had a thyroid, and now her thyroid's just completely disintegrated because her body destroyed it with its own white blood cells. She's got a weird, crazy form of like lupus where her body just keeps retargeting like different aspects of her and starts killing it. They're just like, you know what? Fuck that guy right there. This guy? It's like this guy, the platelet that's been helping, like, with when we start bleeding and stuff. It's like, yeah, fuck him. Fuck him and everybody related to him.
basically,
And then her body just like retargeting. It starts fucking on that, and it just doesn't make any sense. But she's being studied. She's like a fucking anomaly with her health conditions. And yeah, the government, her own fucking doctor, her own privately funded fucking doctor. Actually, I think she gets Medicare. But either way, her doctor was just like, yeah, we're not going to help her find a vaccine. I had to help her get a vaccine. She clearly qualified.
yeah.
She's 64, so she's almost at 65, but she has a slew of underlying fucking health conditions. And even then, my dad wasn't getting pushed to get the vaccine either. He had to fucking call a vaccine center and get an appointment by himself.
Yeah.
They don't fucking do that shit here. So it's completely self-regulated
Yeah, which is,
on how you're getting the vaccine specifically here for fucking COVID. So it's like if you want it, you have to chase it. Like no one's gonna fucking help you, which is ridiculous.
I mean, the only pro I would argue, and this is arguing in really bad faith, is like if people don't know that, you can technically skip the line, right? Like as a healthy person, I can get it way earlier than people who qualify or who need it more than me,
Oh,
just because how many elderly people don't know who to call or what to say, or right?
so many. I know personal friends and people that I have worked with that skip the line because they're just like, I have an underlying health condition, and because of HIPAA, they can't fucking ask you what that is. So they've gotten the shot, and then now they're in fucking Vegas, like partying.
Does no one check it? Does no one look at your medical history? Like,
They're not allowed to because they're not your doctor
yeah, but
because of HIPAA.
you can give consent for it to be shared.
No, because these are all fucking just vaccine centers. They're not your doctor. They can't ask you too many questions. They can just ask you, do you have an underlying health condition that qualifies you for the shot? And then you can just lie and say yes.
This makes me actually very mad.
Yeah, so many people I know that have skipped the line because of that shit. And meanwhile, and it's weird because like from an ethical standpoint, I felt bad getting the shot because I was just like, oh, well, I mean, my doctor told me that I fucking have severe asthma and will for the rest of my life because of the fucking repercussions that I got from having COVID. And I felt bad making an appointment knowing that I'm young and I technically still have antibodies from when I did have COVID. I felt bad making myself a fucking appointment to get the shot. Meanwhile, I know plenty of other people that fucking lied to get it.
Yeah. Um,
And it's just weird. There's just a crazy fucking, at the same time, it's just like because it's individualized and self,
regulated. Yeah.
you take care of it yourself and shit, it's just, and I don't know though. I don't know if those people that got the shot did actually have underlying health conditions or something like that. I know for a fact that there were some people that were just like, oh, I'll sign up for Postmates, say that I'm a grocery worker, get the shot, and then quit and never work a shift.
I mean, in general,
I know people that did that.
like obviously not everybody will be in that boat, but in the same way, I don't want to say a lot of people, but it's happened enough that it's a known thing. How many people register their dog as a fuck, what's it called? A support?
Neutered?
No, as a support dog.
Oh, emotional support animal?
Yeah, even though they don't, one doesn't qualify for it, or they don't need it, just so it's just so they can like cheat that system. So
A lot of people.
I would not be surprised if there was a sizable number of people who do something similar for a vaccine, right? Like people, cheat the system for, I don't know, bringing your dog into a fucking grocery store or something inconsequential, or on vacation with you on a plane. They will definitely do it for a vaccine.
Yeah. And it's just, and because it's not actually regulated by the government and it's not actually being watched and stuff like that, people are fucking signing up and it's a thing.
Yeah,
And it's wild because, like I felt fucking bad signing up for it, thinking that I was like taking the shot away from fucking somebody older that could have benefited from it. But I mean, I didn't stop feeling bad about it until like my doctor was just like, no, you should get it because if you get COVID again, you'll fucking die. LOL.
Yeah. I mean, over here, the difference is, I'll get a phone call when it's my time,
Yeah.
because everybody here in the country, you have a family doctor, unless you
Mhm.
explicitly choose not to. But why wouldn't you? Because having a family doctor is fucking great, right? Like you should have one, especially when it's free. So most people here, they'll grow up or like they'll get born and then you'll get signed into the family doctor of one of your parents, and maybe you'll end up switching, when you move somewhere else to the country, or like your partner, they end up like marrying or whatever, or being with has like a better doctor, so you want to switch to them, something like that, right? But
Yeah.
for the most part, I would say like 95% or more have a family doctor, and they know you very intimately.
Yeah.
Like they know.
Know your family.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, obviously they have more clients, but they have a cap, right? Like they only take on so many clients or so many patients, I should say, because that's the amount of attention they can give everybody, right?
Mhm.
And my doctor is amazing. I love my doctor. She's great. Probably the best doctor ever. Period. Give her a raise, even though she has her own clinic and works for herself. Anyway, love her, amazing woman. And when it's time, she'll call me like, "Hey, you're eligible for the vaccine now. All the other people before you who were more eligible, who should have gotten it before you have. Let's find a time to schedule you in." And I know that the earliest opportunity that she's going to call me is going to be like August. So I'm not getting a vaccine before August for sure,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that. Like
Yeah.
I live a lifestyle that allows me to do that. Like I'm not an essential. I mean, because if I was an essential worker, I would have gotten it months ago, right? So
Yeah.
there's the difference in that, right? That ultimately it's slower, right, for the average population,
Mhm.
but at the end of it, you at least know that unless you're an anti-vaxxer, everybody got vaccinated. Like
Mhm.
you'll never know in the US like who's had a vaccine or not, right?
Yep, exactly. And then now they're also talking about how they are mandating that you be vaccinated when you start traveling in the future. So now you have to carry around that vaccination card being like, "See, I can fucking go to Europe now." And it's just like because it's individualized and like there's no guarantee that everybody has a vaccine and stuff like that. Now you have to start watching around with like fucking credentials saying that like you're a safe person to fucking exist. And it's just fucking wild. And I don't know if you have because like anti-vaxxers is like huge fucking craze here,
Oh yeah.
specifically in America. And I don't fucking know if you have like a crazy resurgence of just like stupid idiot. By the way, if you're anti-vaxxer, you're a stupid fucking idiot. Go fuck yourself. Um, segue. Also, if you fucking are listening to this podcast and you're an anti-vaxxer, why don't you go ahead and dox yourself in the comments? Like, subscribe, give me a thumbs down. Either way, I don't give a fuck. You're an idiot. So I don't know if you have like a huge anti-vaxxing fucking population specifically like in the Netherlands. Do you?
No, like obviously everywhere in the world you'll have anti-vaxxers, right? In the same way that you'll have flat earthers everywhere and so on, right? Like that is just inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But I mean, we have a big population of just fucking anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, I mean you have a big population in general, right? If I were to guess how many anti-vaxxers we had, and this is again
Percentage wise.
like an unbiased guess, like with no knowledge, nothing to back it up, I would wager less than 100 people.
See, that's fucking wild because I feel like there's probably like 100 fucking people that are anti-vaxxers just here in this county. Here in this fucking county.
I mean, over here, like
Here in this city.
I remember getting one shot as a kid, and the rest just happened while I was a baby. So it's just very natural. Like everybody kind of grows up getting a shot. Like I'm pretty sure the doctor doesn't call you like, "Hey, do you want to give your kid a shot?" It's kind of like, "Hey, they're turning 1. It's time for like for this and this vaccination. Let's plan it for the next couple weeks." And then you don't say no to that.
No, you don't. And that's why like it's stupid because now in the US, we have to basically be like, "Hey, if your fucking kid doesn't have these fucking immunization records in order to fucking sign like enroll in school, they can't fucking come."
Yeah, I mean, like, didn't wasn't there a measles outbreak last year in
Yes.
the U.S. Even though we eradicated the measles?
It was okay, so it wasn't last year. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, but it all fucking like it was a crazy measles breakout that fucking happened at like Disneyland, and kids were getting fucking measles and shit. And it's just like, why your kids got fucking measles?
Yeah,
And then just like, oh well, they don't have the measles shot. And it's like, why the fuck wouldn't you get the measles shot? And it made no fucking sense. And that's how we found out there was this huge fucking resurgence of anti-vaxxers. To be fair, one of my cousins was a fucking anti-vaxxer, and you know what I did? I fucking flamed them every single fucking moment that I got. They came to fucking the Christmas party, like our family Christmas party. Obviously not this year because we didn't have one, or the year before that we didn't have one either. But I mean, like a couple of years, like 4 or 5 years ago, like they would come to the fucking family Christmas party and they'd be like, "Hey, how's it going? Blah blah blah." I'm like, "All right, well, I just got my flu shot, so you can't talk to me because I have autism now." And like
Yeah.
I would flame him because I don't give a fuck. Okay, if you're an idiot, you're an idiot, and I don't care if you're related to me. I'm gonna fucking flame you. You're an idiot. So I would, and you know what? His kid kept getting rejected to enrolling in schools, and he had to cave and get his kid vaccinated.
Good.
So good, right? But apparently, um, he's Chinese, by the way. Uh, if you take him to a Chinese school, they don't fucking enforce vaccinations at Chinese schools because they're privately owned.
Right.
Only public schools enforce that you have a certain, shot record and you have to submit it. Because I remember when I was going into fucking middle school, they're just like, hey, you need to fucking submit all your shots, otherwise you can't fucking go here. And I was like, oh, okay, weird, but whatever. And so I called my pediatrician, and that's another thing here that's different in fucking America. When you're born and shit, you don't have a family doctor, you go to a pediatrician.
I mean, typically they're one and the same here. Like my specific case, my doctor here, her husband is a pediatrician, and they share an office. So what typically happens is he takes care of the kids and the small babies, and then when they grow out of that, they transfer to her.
Yeah. So it sucks because I loved my pediatrician. My pediatrician fucked. He was the best fucking doctor ever. He was incredibly attentive. He cared. He knew me by name. He knew my whole family history. He got along with my father, which is another fucking big selling point right there. And it was like he was awesome, and I absolutely adored him, and I wanted to stay with him, but I couldn't because once I reached 18, I was no longer Babu, and he couldn't see me anymore, like legally. He was like, "Oh, well, you're now an adult, so I can't legally see you because I'm a pediatrician." So then I got this other person who I fucking hated, and like ever since then, like I've just been on the search for a good doctor, and I had a good doctor that I liked a lot, but then she decided that she didn't want to be a doctor. She wanted to be a person that trained doctors. So then she left, and then I got stuck with this other chick who was like incredibly inattentive, a fucking idiot, never returned my calls, didn't give a shit about me when I fucking got COVID and I reached out to her about what I could do to fucking ease my symptoms. I ended up having to fucking call the health line, talk to some random guy I didn't even fucking know who had more fucking kindness in his heart than the fucking bitch that was supposed to give a fuck about me. And she's also an idiot because she literally treats my mom. She treats my mom. And then she came to me and she's like, "Yeah, so what's your family history?" And I'm like, "Shouldn't you fucking know?
Yeah, that is.
You see my mom every week. Every week, dog."
Yeah, that is
It's ridiculous.
insane. Like, I guess a good comparison to make there. When my dad passed away, obviously we have the same doctor because again, she's fucking amazing. When he passed, like I think the day after or the day of, I don't remember because he passed like during the night. She called me like in tears because one, she was sad, but she called me to like see how I was doing and like to make sure that I'm okay because she knows, I have depression and everything like that. And that was like, wow, holy shit. Like I did not expect her to do that, but it was super nice that she did. And it's just, I don't know, just great. And I feel like those stories are very rare in the US.
Yeah, nope, can't relate. My doctor didn't give a fuck about me when I was dying.
Yeah. I've also never been asked about a shot. Like, let's say in the hospital, if I end up there in an emergency, they've never been like, I think at most it was like, hey, like, are you vaccinated for this random disease? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. And they're like, did you get your shots as a kid? Like, yeah, okay, then you're good. So that's like at most, but I've never had to like show my shots to anybody or anything of that caliber. Like that
Yeah,
seems insane to me. Like, why? It's in my medical file, and
they're required.
I'm at the hospital.
They're required. You got to get a fucking copy, a certified copy of your shot record, and you have to submit it when you enroll in a public school. So I had to do the same thing, I believe, when I started going to college. Remember, I had to get that, and then yeah, because I went and I looked at my record, and then they're like, "Hey, you need to get a fucking tetanus booster before you start college." So I was like, "Okay, whatever, I'll get a tetanus booster." And I don't know if you ever got a fucking tetanus shot, but that shit fucking doesn't feel good, Scoop.
That's the ass shot, isn't it?
No, that's a different one. Tetanus shot is just like the needles like pretty thick, and like the liquid inside is like thick. And so when they give it to you, it's like the equivalent of like having a shot. If you know, like having a shot's just, you know, being stabbed by a needle, right?
Sure.
Um, like the tetanus shot feels like getting fucking hit by a hole punch.
Damn. I mean, I don't know.
Because the needle be thick, the thickums, and then the fucking liquid is thick too. And you when they give you the shot, you feel it like going into your arm.
Do you not feel regular
Like you feel
shots?
it going through your veins. Huh?
Do you not feel regular shots?
When they get stabbed in my arm and then they inject it into my body?
No, 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 like the liquid?
No.
Oh, I do.
Maybe you just got fucking tiny little bitch veins. I don't know, dude.
All right. For anybody that's ever been in surgery and stuff like that, please let me know in the comments if you like the feeling of like, I assume it's just salium going into your veins. That shield
Saline.
saline, not salium. I don't know what salium is. I just made up a word. Fuck it.
I was like, so that's a Mass Effect shit right there.
Maybe. Mass Effect sucks. If you ever had saline injected into you, tell me that that shit doesn't feel amazing. It's like instantly cold. It's like soothing. It's
That's
like,
good.
oh yeah, give me another shot, doc. Oh yeah, you know, like it's good.
Yeah, no, saline doesn't feel like anything to me.
Interesting.
Can't feel it. But I mean, I've only had one surgery, and it was when I got my wisdom teeth out, and it was the best feeling of my entire life. Take me back. I want to taste the void again. I woke up feeling the happiest I've ever felt in my entire fucking life. I felt like it was just a glimpse at being neurotypical. If I could find some way to get my wisdom teeth out again, I would. It was an amazing experience. Take me back, anesthesia.
I mean, I haven't had my wisdom teeth removed yet. I probably need to in like a couple years. I should get on. Like mine aren't like growing weird or anything like that, but it's more of as a precaution. But I can definitely relate to this was when I had my gallbladder removed, and after the surgery, they were like, "Hey, are you in pain?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Well, how much is the pain?" I'm like, "An 8." And they gave me like something like morphine adjacent, not morphine, but it was just like a pain pill, morphine adjacent pill, and I took it, and 10 minutes later, the pain was gone. And then, you know, they were like, "How do you feel now?" I'm like, "No pain at all." And then I woke up 8 hours later. Like, it was so good.
Bruh, bruh. Yeah, take me back, dude. I felt so fucking good getting my wisdom teeth out. Like, they gave me painkillers. I didn't like taking them because they made me feel like an idiot. Because you know, painkillers make you high, right? So then, like,
I mean, yeah, potentially. Yeah, you're just, you know, yeah.
yeah. So the first day, I got my wisdom teeth out. They gave me painkillers when I was like, you know, when I was under and shit. So when I got out, I was like kind of loopy. And then the next day, they're like, yeah, you want to take these painkillers because apparently my teeth have really super deep roots, like mega deep roots. Like apparently they're like tickling my fucking brainstem or some shit. So they're like, yeah, dude, when we took your wisdom teeth out, we had to pry those motherfuckers out because they were fucking deep. And I was like, okay, like cool, whatever, man. And then they're like, so you want to take a pain pill because you're going to be feeling a lot of discomfort. So the next day I was just like, I'm not really feeling that much pain. Like, this is fine. This is manageable. But the doctor said I should take my fucking painkillers. So I'll take one. So I took one of them. And then I proceeded to be a fucking idiot. Like it took me, my best friend was just like, hey, I'm going to be in this wedding and I want to get a new dress. Like, can you go shopping with me? And I was like, okay, well, I just got my wisdom teeth out and I just took a painkiller. So I'm not good to drive. And she's like, oh, it's fine. I'll pick you up. So I was like, okay. So then she picked me up and then we went to the mall. And when I was in my car, I was like, I need to charge my phone. And then I proceeded to like take the audio jack where you would plug it into your phone to listen to music and trying to ram it into the charge port. And I was like, I don't know why it's not charging. And I was like, I did that for like 10 minutes while we're driving to the mall. And then finally my friend looks over and she's like, oh, honey, that's the wrong one. And then I was like, oh.
That's what she said.
Well, it was just, yeah, but also, that's what she said. Yeah. But yeah, it was just like, I was like, okay, well, I'm a fucking idiot. And then I was just like, I don't like taking these things. I feel like a fucking idiot. And then I proceeded to not take the rest of my entire bottle. And I was fine. I didn't have like my jaw felt a little tender, but I didn't. I mean, they said that they literally had to pry my fucking teeth out, and I'd be in a lot of pain, but I was not. It's fine.
That's good. But in general, you know, take that shit if you're in pain, right? Like don't be stubborn. Like my dad used to be stubborn about it. Like I remember. So for reference, he took 40 milligrams of oxy in the morning, and 12 hours later he took 30 milligrams of oxy. So he was
Coasting.
pilled up.
Yeah, he was coasting, bro.
And he was still in pain, you know, on top of that. But he was very stubborn about it. Like at one point, he came to me like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to a lower dose." Because when he first got sick, he started with like 10 milligrams each, and I was like, "Why? Like, well, I don't want to be addicted." Like, well, first of all, you're pushing 80. Like, who gives a shit that you're gonna be addicted? These pills are free. Like, you don't have to worry about anything. Like, just take them.
Yeah.
And then he lowered dose for one day, and he had withdrawal symptoms,
Yeah.
and he was in so much pain. I was like, "All right, I'm never doing that shit again."
No, dude.
So
Like,
but yeah, if you're in pain and you have the medication, please don't be stubborn because, it's for your own. Like, obviously, Oxy is a little bit different than probably the pills you took. Oxy is very addictive. So I would absolutely understand if somebody wants to avoid something like Oxy for a short period. But
I'm pretty sure what they gave me was Norco, which is like the new version of Vicodin.
mm,
So
so yeah, that also makes sense then. But, in general, don't suffer if you don't need to.
yeah, I mean, but at the same time, though, there's a lot of people out there that are addicted to painkillers.
No, of course. And it's a serious, you guys had or even still have like the opioid epidemic, right?
Oh, yeah, we still have that going on. Like,
Hmm.
fucking, so many people are fucking like addicted to fucking opiates. That's why, if you're a pharmacist, you gotta like count your pills like fucking 360 times to make sure you're not fucking giving somebody one too many.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been like, yeah, it's I totally understand why, because I know somebody that likes to take pain pills as a like a recreational drug, and it's incredibly addicting.
Yeah. But also, obviously, I can't just say don't do that because they are really addictive. And so are the withdrawal symptoms are really bad. But try and get help because that is not good for your liver. And if you're young, that's going to have some very bad ramifications, right? Like, obviously, it's not like meth or heroin or anything like that. Like, it's not going to fuck you up immediately and devastate you like a before after picture of like a year, right? But long term, it's going to do damage like your liver and like your kidney and just stuff like that. So if you can, try and get help.
Yeah, for sure. Like, just I mean, there are ways to get clean off of that stuff. I don't really know the methodology behind it because I've never experienced it or I've never been addicted to painkillers. I do the opposite of what you say, where you're just like, if you're in pain, just take the painkillers. I just tough it out
Yeah, I mean,
because I don't want to be addicted to painkillers, and I think I'm just like hyper aware, and I like probably overthink it. Just like, oh my god, I don't want to fucking go into this or whatever. But yeah, I just don't end up taking it,
yeah,
and
I mean,
I only take pills if I like feel very extremely uncomfortable or I am directed by a doctor.
yeah, I mean, if I'm directed by a doctor, I will always take them. But other than that, I'm a fucking pill popper. Because of my hip.
Yeah,
Like I'm in constant pain like every day. And some days it's bad enough where I have to have a painkiller. Like I would say I take like ibuprofen. Let me actually check how many milligrams this is.
I think you said 500 last time we talked about it.
They're 1,000 each, and
Holy shit!
I always take at least two on top of my pain medication,
Fuck,
and that's daily. And if I need more, I'll double that shit.
bruh. Yeah,
But obviously, it is ibuprofen because my doctor and I don't want to put me on anything heavier
yeah.
because that might be addictive, and eventually you get used to the medication and you need more and more stuff. So it's kind of managing it
Hmm.
with just ibuprofen and I forget the name of my painkiller, and it's not here; it's at my bedside, so like I'm not gonna go reach for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm definitely a pill popper. Like if I get a headache, pop that pill. Like I pop that shit. Like, not like it's candy, but I'm definitely not shy about it.
Yeah, nope. I'm not like that at all. If I have a headache, I will try to just push through it and just like take a nap and see if I feel better if I wake up later. And I definitely just try not to take it if I don't have to, for the most part.
Yeah,
I really wait until it's like, oh my god, this is like really uncomfortable. I can't even fucking think, kind of thing.
yeah. I mean, obviously, for a headache, I would say it depends on how bad is the headache, what kind of plans do you have, right? Like if all you're gonna do, like if you get a headache in the evening, like just chill it out, if it's not too terrible. But if it's a bad headache and you need to work for the next 6 hours, maybe take a pill so you don't fucking suffer.
Yeah.
You need to focus, you need to be on your game. But again, I think like stuff like ibuprofen is relatively harmless unless you're taking like six a day every day.
Um it was weird though because when I had COVID, they were just like, "Hey, like don't fucking like you need to switch off between taking ibuprofen and Tylenol because the ibuprofen will be hard on your liver."
Yeah.
Is what they told me, but I don't know if that was like in tandem with like the other medication I was taking because I took like 3 rounds of fucking steroids, bro. So
I mean, even if not, but like there's a difference between like taking one ibuprofen like a month for a headache as opposed to like several a day, right?
yeah,
I mean, there is. Don't argue otherwise. There's a tangible difference.
I mean, probably. I don't fucking like I said, I don't fucking know. I just don't take them. I just suffer,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I just suffer quietly, and it's fine.
I mean, yeah. If it works, it works, right? Like you can't dictate how somebody should deal because what's painful for me might not be painful for you, and vice versa, and stuff like that.
Oh no, yeah. Pain is totally and completely relative. Yeah.
hmm So definitely, a lot of factors there. Just do what feels right. I'm just saying, like, if you're in pain and you have the means to medicate safely and like legally and all that, don't suffer for the sake of suffering
Yep.
because life's too short.
Yeah. And again, another shining example of to not do what I fucking do.
Speaking about that,
Yeah, don't do what I do. That's the TLDR of this podcast.
to actually go back a little bit before we end this episode, and on a not a positive note, but on a PSA, because we talked about the vaccine quite a bit.
hmm
For the people who are getting the vaccine and or who have recently gotten it, please understand that because you're vaccinated doesn't mean that you're immune. So you can still get COVID. The vaccine is mainly to, severely lessen the symptoms if you do have it. Like I think it's supposed to bring it to the level of like a regular cold, but you can still have the bad side effects. The worst can still happen. And even if you don't get any side effects, you can still carry the virus inside of you and infect somebody who doesn't have the vaccine or stuff like that. So I would say, as a PSA, just because you got vaccinated, don't stop wearing your mask. Like, don't stop washing those hands. Also, you should be washing your hands in general, not just because there's a pandemic. Um, don't stop being cautious just because you got the shot.
Yep, agree. That's pretty good PSA. They don't actually know like the total ramifications of getting the vaccine and stuff like that, so they can't really tell what the effective rate is and like combat. Well, you're guaranteed to have like lesser symptoms and stuff like that if you get the vaccine and stuff, but they are not exactly sure about how will you be like a carrier and like all this other shit. And like they just had a story recently that came out about this woman who got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and she got COVID 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
She had an active COVID infection and she was spreading it to people after she already had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So again, big PSA. You don't fucking know what the shit's gonna fucking do and shit. So
Yeah. I mean, big PSA,
yeah, just continue to be safe.
you're not immune. That's the PSA. A vaccine implies immunity, but you are not immune to the disease, and neither are the people around you.
Yep. So still continue to wear a mask, still continue to social distance, and honestly, who actually knows if we even will get back to a state and society in which people aren't wearing masks and you're able to just kind of run outside and do your own thing anymore because of
Yeah.
all the different strains and shit that are out there.
Right. And honestly, and I saw this as a point for contention last year because how it started like, oh, we're just quarantined for 2 weeks, and that turned into a month, and then 2 months, and then people were complaining about their summer being gone.
hmm
And I have a feeling, especially now with the timing of the vaccine, a lot of people are making summer plans and vacation plans, and
Yep.
under the mindset of like, hey, I don't want to lose my summer to some stupid disease. And to that, I kind of feel like I get it, but maybe lose one summer so you get to keep all the future ones.
Yeah. Agree. I don't know. I mean, clearly you feel some kind of way about it because, like you're about, how your dad passed away from COVID.
hmm
And then I almost fucking died. So clearly I have like a hot take on it too, where you're just like, you should, give a fuck about it and you should give a fuck about other people and you shouldn't want to like vacation and go places, especially that don't have the strong infrastructure to fucking deal with that. Like there are some people saying, like, oh, I'm gonna go to like fucking Hawaii, which is like, they have like one fucking major hospital, probably, a very minimal amount of fucking beds in the ICU and stuff like that. So it's like, don't bring your fucking dirty COVID juju over there and fuck up Hawaii. And also don't fucking everybody's just like, oh well, I'm gonna go to Japan as soon as I get vaccinated. But it's like they're currently encountering a new strain over in Japan of COVID that is immune to the vaccines. So people that have the vaccine that are, like, oh, I'm fine, I have the vaccine, they're getting COVID again because they're getting a new strain of COVID that's not able to be mitigated by the vaccine over there. So
Yeah.
just some food for thought. There's a lot of fucking crazy ass shit going around. I don't know if we'll truly ever get out of this fucking pandemic at this point. And you know what? Just continue to fucking wear your mask.
Yeah.
Social distance. Be a good person. Don't be an asshole.
Exactly.
Think of other people rather than your fucking self for your own fucking selfish needs.
I agree.
And with that, I think that's a good point to fucking end it. A nice PSA.
I mean, I definitely have a lot more COVID words to mince if need be, but I think we'd be here for the double time, and
We don't want to hurt our editor like that.
let's just save it for another time. Yeah, like not again.
Not again.
Not again. We're sorry.
Thank you to our editor. Yeah, we're sorry. We appreciate you.
We love you.
Please
Please don't
leave
leave.
us. Bruh, mood. All right. So with that, hopefully you got some fucking fire ass knowledge from this fucking podcast. Maybe you enjoyed the brief glimpse into the very, I guess my background of my parents, and hopefully you can understand.
This was a very, very personal episode, I think.
It was a very super personal episode that had to do with, not only that, ourselves, but also our health and our, livelihood and the actual current pandemic and stuff like that. Maybe a little bit of a downer, but whatever. But thank you very much for taking the time to listen to the podcast while you're fucking here. Maybe give that shit a little subscribe. If you hit the little subscribe button at the bottom, the little bell coon, you get notifications of when we publish another podcast, which you want to be on the up and up because all the cool kids are doing it. But on top of that, it doesn't cost you anything to fucking subscribe, and we can get that sweet vanity URL. We can finally become mommy milkers. And yeah, why don't you leave a comment? Maybe if you have an experience with COVID or losing a loved one to COVID, this is a safe space, and we want to encourage you to, share with us. Unless you don't want to, that's totally fine too. And maybe if you want to give this little podcast coon a little like coon, or if you want to give it a dislike, that's fine. The YouTube doesn't give a fuck. It's the same algorithm, and we're thriving. So, right? We're thriving. Survive. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I am one of your co-hosts, Kelly Fart Dab, and this is one of my fucking, or not one of my only fucking esteemed co-hosts. I don't tell him, but I'm looking to replace Milan.
Yeah, knew it.
DM me your fucking resumes. No, just kidding. This is my co-host.
It's still me, Milan.
Milan. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night. See you next week.
See you next week.
Goodbye.